We're recommending to transition into orthotics, and especially for your condition for plantar fasciitis, whether there's a trauma like a partial rupture or not. It's a really good adjunct to do. Even though we've got good shoes, and these are good shoes because as we stretch them or flex them, they're really bending in the ball of the foot. They're not really bending in the arch. Some of the shoes like Skechers and Crocs are super flexible and they bend across here, which puts a lot of strain across the plantar fascia. So these are good shoes, but adding the extra arch support is always valuable. So a typical good arch support has some relative plastic shell in there, and this is just cushion, and there's long ones and short ones like this, and essentially they're functionally the exact same thing because we still need to bend in the ball of our foot. So the orthotic and the plastic shell can't go past that, plastic, carbon fiber, or whatever the material this is. So essentially they're the same type of a construct. Short ones like this are more versatile for women and for some men for dress shoes that are a lot tighter and narrower. And these are typically more for like a running shoe or a walking shoe like this is. And so typically what we'll do with this is on a typical shoe, and this has a lot of room in it, some shoes, you're gonna wanna take the insole out of the shoe and put the orthotic into here. And a lot of times if you put it in the side and just slide it in, it should just slide in really easily, and you can just feel the ball of the foot is flat against the ground, and it falls in there really nicely. If you choose to use a small one, what we actually do sometimes, there's two ways to do this. You can put the small one on top of the orthotic in the shoe, or sometimes it's more comfortable to lift up this insole that's in the shoe and put it underneath there and lay this on top. So it doesn't look like there's anything in there, and usually it's a little bit more comfortable sometimes as you do that. So you do have options if it's a short one or long one. Once again, the short one is a little bit more versatile, and you can use it in a good shoe like this. But for this example, we'll just go ahead and put the longer one in there because it fits really nicely, and then it can just stay in there. I am lazy and I've got a couple pairs, and I have some that just live in my shoes all the time because I wear them full time and stuff. So as we transition into this, we have this plastic shell that's capturing the full arch, and we have the intimate control of the arch. So it does take a time and a process to get used to this because you're putting this plastic thing into your arch and it gets kind of sore. So typically there's a transition period to do that. So for example, day one, you'll wear this for about 30 minutes or an hour in the morning, and you'll want to take this out and switch it back to the normal one, the plastic flexible, or the cushy flexible one. And then give it a little bit of time to rest in there, and then maybe like an hour in the evening or so. And then the next day, wear it for maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours, and just slowly give that process. That transition can take a week to even 2 weeks to fully get used to the orthotic over time. If there's areas that are pinching or irritating, it may not be the right size for you. Over-the-counter ones don't match the arch perfectly. That's where custom ones come into play. But a lot of times with a relatively normal arch, over-the-counter ones are a very good starter piece of that. But remember that transition time does take sometimes a week, sometimes even 2 weeks to fully get used to them full time before you wear them full. If you're running on these things and you're an athlete, you're gonna want to wait that full transition time, 2 to 3 weeks, to actually run on them. Don't wear them for running because it's a big mechanical shift. For runners that we talk about with orthotics, sometimes runners get like a motion control shoe where it's a little bit stiffer in here, and having the orthotic actually puts too much pressure in here on the outside of your foot. And some runners will get like lateral knee pain or medial shin splints or things like that as they mechanically change the mechanics with the motion control shoe and the orthotic, and sometimes it's too much, and sometimes we'll have to switch down to a stability or even just a straight neutral cushioning shoe with orthotics to neutralize that motion, because we do need a little bit of motion this way for shock absorption under the natural gait cycle. So there's sometimes a little bit of a shoe shifting and transitioning time to get used to this over time as well.